Here we are with Jan, the mix artist at Mix Artist Studio in Mullumbimby. And how you going today, Jan? Good?
I'm really good, Zalu. Thank you so
Right.
much for coming. Good to
Yeah,
see you again.
yeah, old
Good to see
school.
you
We've known
again.
each other, I don't know how long now.
Oh, decades?
Yeah, time ticks
Decades.
away. It ticks
Yeah,
away.
yeah, cool.
Just a little background, origin story. So your background was in audio, or you were saying you were a drummer, like
Yes. As a teenager, I
yeah,
started as a drummer.
yeah, we're in a metal band.
Yes, I was really into punk rock,
As you do.
hardcore metal as a
Yeah,
teenager,
yeah,
and
yeah.
found myself in studios and
Okay.
saw the big reels
Yeah,
turning
yeah,
and big
sure.
consoles, and was really curious.
And you're more
And
drawn.
I was really drawn towards it.
Yep.
And then I studied sound engineering in the 90s.
Okay.
I lived in Hamburg in Germany back then.
Okay.
So this
Yeah.
is, German engineering,
Yeah,
so to
yeah.
speak.
Oh, yeah. Precise.
And
Very precise.
yeah. No, so it just turned out that I was just more talented as an engineer than I was as a drummer.
Sure.
And
Sure.
that became my main thing, and it
Okay.
still is. So
Yeah, awesome.
I flourish when I can work with other artists and get the
Okay.
best out of them.
Yeah.
You know, that's really what I'm all about.
100%. And what attracted you to the show? How did you end up in the Byron Bay region?
Or actually, it was a job offer.
A job offer?
Yes, it was a job offer in
Okay.
2006.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a long story, but
No,
the
no,
short
just
version,
in a short version,
the
yeah.
very short version is I
Yeah.
pretty much had a phone call asking me if I, want to come to Byron Bay to work
Were
here.
you over in Hamburg at the time?
Yes, and they pretty much
Okay.
told me
You were headhunted.
sort of, yes, and
Sort of.
they pretty much told me, you can have the job if you can be here in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So I said yes, and had no idea how to do it, but I pulled it
Okay.
off somehow.
Oh, that's great. I did not know
And
that.
restarted my life, and
Yeah, okay.
now I'm a John and born Aussie, and this
Yeah.
is home to me. It's
Yeah.
the best place in the world.
It is a great
I
place to
couldn't
live.
imagine
Yeah.
a
Once we
better
live
place
here.
to bring up my kids.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
just the music here and the nature and
Yeah.
the people. Most importantly, the people. I just resonate much better with the locals here than with any other people in the world, I reckon. So this
Yeah.
is home to me.
100%. And as I said before, once you live in the Byron Bay Northern Rivers region, it's. I mean, I've tried to escape a few times, which I have, which is fine. But it always draws me back, and I'm cool with it. All good. I'm here,
Yeah.
and here we are. So just
It's a
moving
sticky
on.
place.
100%. So just where you are, this studio, it's really interesting because I just want to say for the record that recording studios over the years, in a nutshell, have changed. There were the big record label, big ones. I remember I did one of my first demos at Rhino. Recordings when I was 19. We had a demo with a downtime with a guy that was an engineer in there in Sydney, and that was in Excessa Studio.
Oh yeah.
And as a 19-year-old, I mean, we were pretty tight as a band. I was a bit like, wow, it was, daunting, this big studio.
Yeah.
And now things have changed, obviously, over many years. And record labels, because of the online streaming, they've collaborated. And, there's a lot of people like yourself that have created more of I wouldn't want to call it like the thing is with this vibe here. I want to say the word home studio, but it's obviously a professional studio, but it's got a homely vibe.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it has.
Yes.
And I think studios are going down that road a lot more to cater to artists, because the important thing, as I was saying before, making the artist feel comfortable is a really important thing, so you get best of the performance out of them. So, in a quick nutshell, how did you had a permanent job for many years, and then you made a decision that you wanted to transition to do your own thing?
Yeah. Look, I've always been a freelance sound engineer, and that's always been something that I've done.
Sure.
And then as my life progressed, we had kids. Then I wanted back a bit.
Yeah, sure.
And
as you do.
now that the kids are older again, I'm just ramping it all up. And I've done a lot of live sound over the course of my life. Thousands of live shows. But then I had a back injury due to lifting live sound gear. So I'm not doing that anymore. And now studio is really where it's at.
Yeah.
And I think my superpower is really recording and mixing.
Sure.
and also supporting artists beyond that. No?
Yeah.
So I help
Yeah.
my artist. It doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
I help them in the mastering stage. I connect them with the right mastering engineers.
Very important.
I help them out with promotional material.
Okay.
You know, we've got our cameras here, so when it comes to the release,
Okay.
we talk about strategies to promote their records.
Very important, the marketing side of it.
Absolutely. No? Promotional marketing is really important.
Okay.
And I just like to not just, you know, do a recording and a mix and then send them on their way and never.
Sure.
And I like to stay
That
in touch. For
personal
me,
connection.
yeah, personal connections. That's what it's all about.
Very
It's a family.
important.
It's a community, and
Very
you know that's
important.
really important to me.
Yeah, because I mean,
So my door is always open for a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And for people to stop by and,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
check
just
it
give me a
out.
shout first. So I'm
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
here. But yeah, of course, you know, I just love hanging out with musicians and talk about their art.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's really rewarding for me.
Yeah, really cool. And so you have expanded.
Yep.
You have you started this with just yourself.
Yes.
As the main engineer, and now you've got a couple of other engineers, regular engineers on board here, or
Yes.
they're just on call. Or...
They're on call. No, it's all on a needs basis.
Okay.
It's all on a needs basis. So the way it works is that clients typically reach out to me first.
Yeah.
Often via my website or social channels. So I get a phone call, and then I try to get to know them first. You know, I don't want to have every client here because sometimes I'm just not the right studio.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I'm
That's
actually the best
very
person they
transparent and honest.
can come to, and then obviously then we look at the rooms together.
Sure.
And see if they feel right at home here.
It's right for them.
And and sometimes I do the recording sessions and the mix, but in some situations I then recommend some other engineers.
Okay.
So Jim Bonifant, for example, is our senior engineer and producer.
Okay.
He's really good in some genres, you know, and then I really need to leave it to him.
Yeah.
We've also worked together on occasions. Then we've got Nathan and Sapphire, which all have their special strengths.
I think that's important.
And you know, Nathan, for example, he's really good when it comes to rock and metal.
That's right. I think I met him when you had the open day here.
That's right. And Sapphire is absolutely amazing when it comes down to pop and vocal coaching. She's an amazing singer, so she can really help singers perform better than I can. She can bring this to the table. So depending on who we deem the best person, we can offer different engineers.
Yeah.
And sometimes people just can record with one and mix with another, or you know, we're a
the
team
way it is
here.
now, right? This is the open source of the industry. Where
Yes.
before, if you were signed up to a record label, and you know they'll bring an engineer in, they'll bring a producer in, and here's a bill for $100,000, and go and slave your life away for the next 5
That
years.
doesn't happen anymore. $100,000.
It's a completely different industry now.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
it's one of my motivations as a music producer, singer-songwriter myself. I realised there is a lot of really cool studios in the Northern Rivers region.
Absolutely.
And it's one of my motivations to showcase different ones so people can maybe go on and check it out, because it's very important. And I really love your open, transparent work ethic. Because it's at the end of the day, it's what's the best for the artist.
Yeah,
What's the
exactly.
best? What are they going to feel good at? And especially with there's certain kinds of music, where it's you got to pay the rent, you got to get business in, but it goes beyond that. And I think that's a really strong point of the service you have to offer, and also some follow up as well.
Yes.
Because this world we live in now, sure, you might not have the record label and back in the day, but you've got to be a self-starter as a band or an artist myself. And the next stage, there's all different stages. You climb one mountain, you record, you mix, and then the mastering stage is very important. And then, the next mountain is the marketing.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
exactly.
getting
It's
people
not done.
to listen. And,
You're never done. Yeah, it
you're
always
never done.
keeps
But
on
that's
going.
a part of
right.
it.
Yeah, that's right.
There's different hats that you put on these days, and a lot of artists, don't want to do that. So it's good you have that advisory on what to do next.
Yes, I give some support there.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, and I find that as time progresses, the clients really change. It gets more diverse. We get, we still get the classical 4-piece band or 5-piece band.
Yeah.
That still happens a lot. But what we see a lot is also professionals who do music on the side.
Okay.
A lot of really successful business people.
I've noticed that actually.
They really enjoy playing music to balance their life. professional business, sport, and music.
Yeah, music.
Something creative. Those are really good things to have in your life. So we had a couple of people coming in who pretty much wrote an album, but just don't have the time.
Sure, but they've got the money, the budget.
Entertain a band and rehearse on a regular basis. So they just approach me with their songs, and we have a network of studio musicians.
Boom.
And then we just have a chat, plan it out, and I get some studio musicians in. Spend a week or 2 weeks together and knock out, an album at a really high quality.
Yeah, which is important.
And we see a bit of interest in vinyl again.
Oh, that's another.
It's a dream for a lot of musicians to, a lot of musicians, hobby musicians, have an album in them.
Yeah.
But not all of them get it out in the world.
No.
And that's exactly where I want to help.
Yeah.
A lot of people dream about their own vinyl record, and we can do that here.
Yeah, you have access.
Project management. From start to end, pretty much.
And that's one amazing thing, to wrap up, that the digital, the analog, I grew up with the analog, so did you. I started on a Tascam 4-track Porta 2, went on to a 16-track reel-to-reel, and now I've got a multi-million-dollar studio on my laptop. I remember every now and then Jan and I used to cross paths, and at the supermarket, how you doing? I'm chipping away. And you always say, have you spent enough time? And I have. I think I've done my 10,000 hours. But it's really good that have that digital, but now the analog's coming back. The vinyl, the cassette tapes, the Gen Zs.
Cassette tapes! Oh my God!
Yeah,
I can't believe it's coming back. But all right.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like it's and the reel-to-reel tapes and
reel-to-reel tapes. I learned editing reel tapes with razor blades and sticky tape and splicing them and putting them back together.
Anyone doesn't know
that
about
was a long time ago in
just
the 90s.
YouTube it. It's quite amazing.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Look,
but
we don't use tape here.
Yeah.
It's just too expensive.
Well, that's the thing too.
It's just too expensive.
No, I get that.
Unreliable.
That's the thing. I mean, I've got a 16-track reel sitting at home, and the heads need to be done, and la la la.
Oh, the maintenance.
And the just to wrap up a bit of trivia, the rollers are all perforated, and I'll get around to it. But I think something like that is good to have as a novelty thing. But but there are studios that are offering full analog, which we might cover that in this segment.
That's totally fine. But
I think, in a nutshell, Rob, I think it's really cool that say the younger generation is getting back to the analog. Yeah. Because back in the day, because now you've got the swiping, you've got thousands and thousands of songs on Spotify. Yeah. Where back in the day, I can say that now. Back in the olden days when I was a boy, you'd buy a record. Yeah. You go down to the shop, you buy the record, you take it home. You pore over the album cover because it was really big, and the artwork and all that stuff, and it maybe opened out and there was all the artwork, and you put it on, and what I used to do is just in the headphones, in my bedroom in the dark, and listen to side A, and when that's done, you had to get up, kids, and flip it around and put the record side B and go back, and you'd have the full experience of a record.
What I always loved about albums is the shout-outs. Yeah. When they say greetings to, and then you can see all their bands and who they've toured with.
Yeah, that's right.
And you could see the network. That was always the most exciting thing for me, reading the shout-out list.
Yeah, cool. And now that's all coming back, and I think it's integrated, and it's great that the vinyl is blowing up. I mean, when I was down Newtown, just a while back, 'cause I grew up in Sydney, and there was like a record store. There was a hi-fi store. Yep. Right. And there was a Kodak shop. All these Gen Zs in there waiting for their film to be developed. Because you know what I mean? It's a sense of fulfillment is a big thing. Yes. Sure, we can have access to all this content, but it can be a little bit hollow. You just did it.
It's more real.
The fulfillment level, and I think the younger generation is realising this, and they're going back to how we grew up, and it's a whole record, and you're going to hang out with your friends and maybe have a glass of wine and have a chat while the record's on. Yes. You listen to the whole thing. Yes. So it's great you have that service. That's a really good thing. Yes. All right, Jan, we'll wrap it up for the mix artist, and stay tuned. And
thanks for stopping by, Zalu.
Yeah, cool, mate. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe to the channel. It all helps.
Yes.
All right.
Subscribe. Here's the button down there somewhere. Somewhere here or there. I'm not quite sure. Somewhere underneath. It's the subscribe button. So check out Zalu. Follow him. Subscribe.
Yeah.
He's doing a great thing here.
And what we'll do, we'll put a link to your website is the best, and
Awesome.
maybe all your socials in the description below.
Thank you.
All right. Jason Zalu signing off, Byron Bay Live TV. Take care. See ya.
Take care.
Bye-bye.